I'm going to call the South Burlington Board of Abatement meeting to order. It is May 14th, Thursday. It is now 9:10. Need some instructions on exiting the building in case of emergency.
So if it's an emergency, we're gonna leave the storage immediately to the right, go out the emergency staircase, down the staircase, and convene in the front of the building.
Questions? All right, agenda item 3, review additions, deletions, or changes in the order of the agenda.
Just as a heads up, this one is in person, the next one that starts at 5:45 is gonna be virtual. And then the following one at 6:15. There are signs to post for when we're in the deliberative session. I think we'll just see how the timing of that is, if we're gonna go into the deliberative session after each one or at the end, we'll figure that out, but I'll post those just so you can.
As we have stated, it's going to be listening to each of the requests and then going into the deliberative session and maybe doing it in a fast process. So I want to give each requester the 30 minutes if they need the full 30 minutes. So we'll be gathered by that. Comments and questions, agenda item 4. Comments and questions from the public not related to the agenda. Hearing and seeing none. We're looking for oaths of.
Yep, so I can do those. There's oath for the Board of Abatement members and then a separate oath for the taxpayer, so we're still looking on. Oh, I didn't see you sneak in. Okay, great. So I'm gonna do the Board of Abatement members first, so raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm that I will well and truly hear and determine all matters and issue for abatement submitted for my decision. Under the pains and penalties of perjury. Okay, great. And then we'll have you come on now. If you want to.
You can vote if you like.
So go ahead and have a seat. And then I'll have you do the application as well. So you're just gonna read it after me, or actually you're gonna say yes. Do you solemnly affirm that the evidence you shall give relative to the case now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury? Okay. Thank you.
So before we get started from the board side, are there any members of the board who have a conflict of interest with this property and individuals and or have had any ex parte communication about this property or individuals? Okay, no one's spoken to these themselves. Thank you. Have you received a copy of the board's rules and procedures?
Yes.
And you understand, do you have any questions about that? How the hearing is going to go about? Okay. So if you would also quickly give us the statutory abatement category that the abatement request is being made under. Right. I think you have it on your sheet.
Yeah, it's on that first page. So that
Circle-
box that you.
circles. I just want you to tell us the category.
So the packet that you submitted? Yep, so that cover letter. So it looks like this.
The only way to go ahead.
Which did you check? You see the box?
It's this one?
Yeah.
I can vote
Okay,
for you
yeah.
and you can.
If you're working with this.
Okay, very good. All right, stand by. So we're gonna open the hearing for parcel number 181002026. Phuong Lam, is that correct? And the property address is 2026 Williston Road. The statutory abatement category that's being requested, and I need your confirmation of this, is taxes of persons who are unable to pay their taxes, interest, and collection fees. That's right.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Very good. So we're going to have you present all your information. We're going to hold our questions. Please take notes. And then any questions you might have, take a note of that. We're going to let these folks finish their representation And then we're gonna have questions. And then we're gonna close the hearing, and at some point later tonight, we're going to deliberate on your request and issue a written response to your request within 30 days. Okay, is that fair? And who's the gentleman with you? Can you identify yourself, sir?
It's William Workman, WORKMAN.
Okay.
Sound.
And what's your interest in?
I'm a real estate agent.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank
Thank you. William Workman. Ms. Lamb, it's your opportunity now to tell us.
Repayment for interest and penalties, during the back to taxes that I owed during COVID. During COVID, I had a restaurant, takeout restaurant, full of both, was operating at the location, and we just opened and COVID outbreak. So business did do well, and I also operated a bar redemption next door. And because the contacts, like no contact issues, so we were not able to do businesses, so I was behind on my property tax. And I've been trying to get it caught up and paid for the business we do normally. However, the back taxes added on to my current tax bill that I have to pay additional, so it makes it very difficult to get by. So I'm applying for interest and penalties that were applied towards my past due taxes. So I can go forward with my operation.
Can you run through the documentation if you presented that?
11, I do have a letter from the attorney. The amount that was sold was 30,000. And I did set up a payment plan. Starting May 15, 2023, and I've paid 5,000 each May, 2,500 every August, and $2,500 every November. Yeah. So there was no 30,000, and now I have brought down to less than 10,000, so much close to 10,000. And right now my every quarter my tax bill is $300, and the 5,000 after $300 is a lot of money for me to go by. So I've been trying very, very hard to get by, and I'm hoping that now that all the taxes are paid and plenty interest are left, and perhaps a little bit of the tax, I'm hoping for some, leniency here, so that I can really go forward and bring my business back to.
And for the purposes of reading the letter, you started with the $12,452.14 as the amount of abatement that you're requesting.
Yes.
And this represents entirely interest and penalties, according to you.
Interest and penalties. Yeah, that was calculated for at that time. That's 10,000.
No, it's 1,000.
Okay. And then so the documentation includes the collection information statement for business, which is the tax form for the treasurer that you've included here.
Yes.
And what else you've given us? The tax bill for tax year 2025.
Yeah.
Mhm. The delinquent property tax notice from the city of South Burlington. The lawyer's, letter, from the city of South Burlington. The copy of checks to South Burlington. And that's the extent of your physical documentation. That's it. Super good. And once again, the present, well, I'll open the floor, I think, thank you, to our question. And I'd rather have one person at a time, so if you have a question, please raise your hand and I will give the floor to you to ask that question, and so sometime you tell me you're done, and then move on to the next person. Yeah, fair enough? So we don't set all over each other. Oh,
Can I just ask Emily if she can clarify that outstanding balance now, since it's different from September and then forward?
thank you.
The total balance due is $8,514.66.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's just interest and penalties, or interest penalties and outstanding?
That includes any interest.
Can you clarify?
So when there are delinquent balances and a payment is made, that payment first goes to cover any kind of payment interest first, and then principal after that.
So this balance is just outstanding balance without penalty interest.
It's whatever is left over for penalty interest.
Okay.
She has kept current.
Yep.
With her tax installments since.
Right.
Since the payment plan was.
But every tax period, that 8,500 will then incur another 1.78%?
Yes.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. Glenn?
Yeah, and to clarify, so when she makes the $5,000 payment, it's going first to any taxes and interest, so the first is not coming on.
It goes to penalty interest first and then to principal.
Yeah. So can you give us a sense of this $8,514.66 that she still owes? Can you somehow glance back over the last 3 years? Because I think she's made a point of how much she's paid, which sounds like at least 50,000. So how much of that 513 is actually probably taxes?
But yeah, I have to go back to what I'm saying.
Please.
You paid a total of $12,041 in interest and $3,769 in penalty. So right now there is $1,970.69 left in due interest of the 514.
So 12,000 in interest and how much again in penalties?
3769.
Other question? May I ask myself, the business Loeb is still operating?
It's been closed since the COVID became carried on.
Okay. Is the bottle redemption business operating?
It's still operating.
And does that do well?
It's, we're trying to do better.
And I noticed there's another restaurant there, Things from the Yard, is that correct?
Yeah, they're relocated to Burlington.
Okay, so there's no one in that space. at the moment.
Not at this moment,
Okay.
but, in the process of, another, business going in.
And you own and operate the entire address, 126, is that all you?
I own,
The property?
I own Abatement.
Okay. And, as the things from the yard, do they pay a monthly fee when they were there, was?
They pay rent,
Mhm.
but they left with, a back rent as well. That was-
Okay. Is there any recourse for things of that sort?
Yes, I talked to my attorney, he's in a process right now, but he said because they might not have any asset that, 25,000 that they owed, I may not get it back.
They don't get security deposit or anything?
Yep, they had a 5,000 security to really deducted and still 24,000 out.
Out.
In the negative.
Oh, that's
So,
business.
yeah.
Well, thank you for having the business and stuff, but I do remember the photo and kind of enjoyed that. So, question 10,
Yeah. Do you own the property underneath the cell tower?
Yes,
Do you receive any income from the cell tower rental from all the cell tower companies around?
yes, it's already, when I bought the property, it was already in place, so I received, 2,200 per year,
Pretty.
yes, no development.
so that's a going concern. What is the outlook for the property as far as continued income and profitability?
So I'm trying to get things caught up and I have a tenant going in or, operating a business, further, in there. So it looks very positive. And, I'm looking forward for, that place to open and have a further place in there and, the bar redemption, so between the bar redemption and the place being rented and have a party tenant, the place will survive. And that's what I'm working on to get.
Just for my own information, what is a monthly rental for a restaurant operation?
For the restaurant monthly,
Mhm.
it's, the restaurant, the kitchen space was 3,000 per month, and the dining space is separate area. And that was 1,600, and so the person rent together would be 4,600 per month.
Other questions from the board? Are we clear on the amount of interest and penalties and?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You're in this request asking for 12,252.14. My understanding is the outstanding balance at this point is 8,514. Would that in any way change your request for the amount that you're asking for
Yes,
in abatement?
yes, I'm asking for just the amount to the amount that is currently due.
The 8,500.
Yes, yeah, I still have the tax that I'm paying, so I'm responsible for that, but I'm hoping to get, eliminate the, past due penalty,
Yes, yes.
currently that doesn't, that will add us to my current, tax payment, so we'll get again.
Thank you.
So just to repeat, you're looking for 8,000.
514.66.
You said that they still have due roughly 1,970 in interest. Do they have due any penalty in the next? No. Next week. Are they 8,500? Roughly 2,000 of it is interest, the rest of it is regular bill. From the bill or from the hospital?
So I need more clarification. So the 8,515, approximately What number again, this back taxes itself?
Principal is $6,543.97.
So the rest is penalties and interest.
Yes, that is just interest, $1,907.
Oh, just interest, okay.
Yeah,
But the request is for the abatement of the full 8,500, which includes some back taxes, including penalties and interest. Yes. Is that true?
That's because of the. She was paying.
Understands because prior payments went against the penalty need for yourself more than principal.
Right, there's an outstanding
Right.
balance plus the
Right now.
penalties and interest, and she's asking for it.
She's paid 15,690 in penalties and interest.
Over there. Robert, first.
What's the interest rate?
1% month.
Other questions?
On each, sorry, on each
Okay.
delivery.
Pretty clear, they have enough information to make a decision. Okay,
Emily gets to stay during our,
not in the deliberation.
No.
We're just go, we have 10 minutes before our next, 12 minutes for our next meeting. It's not really to deliberate in that, it's subject to what we take up, that's fine. But, since we had no more questions, we'll dismiss you and thank you for your request. And again, we send you a written response within 30 days. Thank you. Ms. Lee.
Thank you, good, thank you.
And wish you good luck on your business.
Look forward to the furthers.
now, where are the purchase? When do they start?
And if you have bottles,
Yeah.
return bottles.
Yeah.
See you soon.
You have everybody on the same meeting?
I think it's just the, not town TV, but I'm just gonna make sure.
Jennifer.
Oh, Jennifer, she's on. Jen, can you hear us?
Hello.
Oh, there you go.
Hi, Jen.
Hold on, she's still muted.
There she goes.
Oh, Jen, I didn't know you were there. I'm sorry. Could you hear us?
I could hear you, but I couldn't say anything or do anything with
Oh,
my,
geez.
but that's
Did you
okay.
have
I could hear everything.
Okay.
Did you have any questions, Jen?
No, I wasn't sure which, I took forever to get on. I'm sorry. Because I
Oh, that's
had
okay.
to, but I wanted to make sure I understood, was this the LAM presentation packet?
Yes, it was.
Thank you, because that was third and I was just trying to make sure I was in the right place. Thank you.
Do we feel we have the time to make the deliberative session on this issue now? Okay. Need a motion to go into deliberative session? Thank you. Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Bye.
All right, Emily, my name is Chris. I'm the chair of the board of.
Michelle.
Sorry, Michelle. I'm talking to Emily. Emily's in the room. Emily is our city assessor. Thank you. Michelle, my name is Chris Shaw. I'm the chair of the Board of Abatement. And we are going to open your hearing for parcel number 0130000069 for the address 69 Bartlett Bay Road in the name of Michelle Starr and William Warnock. Is that correct?
That is correct. And my husband, William Warnock, going by Bill, is here as well.
Okay, thank you. Want to ask you if you received a copy of our procedures.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna do some oaths in a moment. The Board of Abatement has already taken an oath. Do we need to take it again, Holly? Okay, we're gonna ask you to take an oath shortly. But I'm gonna ask the members of the Board of Abatement when our missing member returns. We went to the bathroom, is chowing down on a snack at the moment. Hey, Barry, we are in the middle of the meeting with Michelle Starr and Bill Warnock, 69 Bartlett Bay, parcel 0130000069. And I'm asking the Board of Abatement if there's any members here that would like to recuse themselves because of personal relationship with the requesters or otherwise a conflict of interest in the property address.
I'll just say that I know both Michelle and Bill, but I do not feel.
Okay, Lori, thank you, appreciate that.
What is that?
So based on
Lori.
that, we're gonna ask you folks online to take the oath from Holly here.
So, Michelle and Bill, you can just raise your right hand and repeat after me if you could. Or you're actually just gonna say yes or no at the end. You're not gonna repeat after me. So do you solemnly affirm that the evidence you shall give relative to the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
And Chris, again, I'm gonna ask you, what is the Michelle? Yes. I'm identifying myself. But thank you for keeping that way. The statutory abatement category you're requesting this abatement under is?
We're looking at the taxes.
No, the statutory category, let me just have you clarify and confirm that the taxes or charges upon real or personal property lost or destroyed during the tax year. Is that what you're requesting?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so we're gonna give you the opportunity to make your case. And we're gonna make notes and ask questions when you are done. And if you would walk us through what you've sent us for paperwork as well, so we know that we're not missing any of your documents that you sent us.
All right, so,
We do.
sure, go ahead.
So last June 4th, 2025, we had a water supply to the second floor toilet burst. We were out of town and it ran for a week. When we got back, the whole bottom two floors, it's a 3-story house, were flooded. Sheetrock was peeling off the walls and ceiling. The crawl space was filled with about 1.5 feet of water. Mold was growing throughout the house, and we haven't been able to live there since then.
So during this time, we filed, we immediately got a RW Savage, which is sort of a rescue crew, came, did some demo. It took them much longer than it probably should have. But the house is, unlivable during that time. We've been really trying to negotiate with insurance to try to rebuild the house. And we just got a final settlement about 2 weeks ago. So that's how long this has taken. In the meantime, we, moved into an apartment in Shelburne that we spent some time fixing up. So we've been really preoccupied with just trying to deal with insurance, figure out a place to live before this year ran up. And we're now getting around to seeing if we can get any of the tax relief because we haven't been living in the house for a year, and it's a major reconstruction project that we haven't been able to start because insurance has taken so long to settle.
As a matter of fact, our contractor recommends that the house be torn down and reconstructed, but the insurance company is not giving us even a fraction of what that would cost. So we're just going to sell the lot to someone who will remove the house and build a new house.
That's your intent, is to sell the lot?
That's our intent at this point. We're getting closer to retirement age, and for us to take on this project is just too much right now.
Or can you share with us the amount of the settlement you just received 2 weeks ago?
So we received a settlement of $276,000 of a project that, according to the builder, is going to be about $800,000. So we've been working pretty intensely with insurance and a construction company trying to figure this out, but it's just been one hurdle after another trying to get them to understand what's going on. And the house at this point's riddled with mold. We have a bid to remediate the mold for 100,000 on a policy that covers 10,000 in mold, and the mold continues to grow as we argue over, well, should we take out the insulation where the electrical is behind the insulation? It took them 6 months to agree to that. So there's just been all sorts of hurdles from the insurance company trying to get this done.
So at this point, there's no electricity, no plumbing, no floor on the first or second floor. The walls are taken down to the studs. So it's truly uninhabitable.
And it has been since last June.
Okay, and you had been away in June when the problem
We had
occurred?
been away, and then we had someone come in to do a cleaning who discovered this, and then as soon as it was discovered, this RW Savage company got right on it, but then they took 2 months to dry the house out.
I see. And was the cleaning company and the notification within the time frame that you can specify?
I'm sorry, say that again?
In other words, did they take a guess that it had been running for a week or 2 weeks before they discovered it? How long?
Oh, we'd had a
cleaning
cleaning person in there a week before, so it was in the time frame of when she had been there and when she came back,
So
which was about a week.
awesome. And then similarly, the I've lost the thread, but go on. It sounds to me like you've gotten a settlement for 276,000, but in order to redo the house to a livable condition, you're talking 800,000, and therefore you're looking to get out from underneath what is an underwater, if you'll excuse the expression, situation.
That is correct.
Okay.
We're looking for someone to buy the lot as is, and they'll have to tear down the house and build a new one.
Okay.
We
Do you
don't,
have
we don't agree with the insurance company that the mold is remediatable, and our bid is 100,000 and their bid is a whole lot less than that.
Okay.
To
So,
really rehab the mold.
as far as your documentation, you've given us the request. You've given us a copy of the 2025 tax year. You've given us photos of the interior.
Yes.
And that is it?
Yes.
Okay, and this is a standalone house,
Yes.
0.17 acre?
Yes.
Okay, on
No,
part
no,
of it.
not
No.
0.17 acres, yes.
I thought it was a 10th.
Did this used to be a smaller house that was upgraded to 3 stories, or with the age of the house?
No, it was originally constructed in 1990. It's about 2,300 square feet.
We've put a lot of sweat equity into that house, but it was originally a 3-story house.
Yeah.
We have
Okay.
added some additions to it over the years. We have been there almost 40 years, since 1985.
No, 1990.
1990, okay.
And is there anything in the insurance that didn't cover the water damage as far as, it's not flood as we know flood. It is more of an accident within the home, correct?
Correct. But say the question again?
I guess I was trying to reassure myself that it wasn't flood damage as we know flood coming up from the lake.
No, it was a
but-
toilet supply line from the 2nd story that came unhinged on its own. With
Fair
no
enough.
one there for about a week.
All right, so that's the extent of the evidence you've given us?
Yeah, I would be happy to supply more if that's helpful, but that was my understanding of what you needed.
And what are you looking for in dollar terms and breakdown of taxes, penalty, interest.
Well,
Or,
ideally, we'd be looking for the last year of taxes that we've paid in a place we have not been able to live in.
We've
you have a number?
kept up on the taxes.
And we've just incurred significant expenses trying to get another place to live and not rely on insurance, which has also been pretty difficult.
So the taxes only because they're paid in full, there is no interest and penalty?
There's no interest or penalty, no.
So if you had to put a number to it, you were gonna go by the tax bill from 2025, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Which represents $10,527.15.
Correct.
Okay. And you did not get any other relief from those taxes?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna open the floor to our members of the Board of Abatement and have them ask you additional questions. So stand by and I'll give each of our members an opportunity. Let me start with Jen Oakes, who is online. Jen, do you have any questions for?
Just curious,
Michele or Bill?
yes, I'm just curious, you be willing to think about that you did live in the house until June, a partial price as far as the cost of your taxes at that time, because you had 6 months in?
Well, then I would be wondering whether we would look at last year's taxes and this year's taxes. I mean, we haven't been able to live in the place for a year.
Right, right.
So I'm not quite sure I understand you, that's all.
Oh, understood.
Right,
Thank you.
So, yeah, I'm not clear if we pay our taxes in August, but is the tax year January to January then?
Let me ask Emily, our city tax assessor, for a confirmation on this. Emily, is it April 1st or
July 1.
July 1?
30th.
July 1 to June 30th.
Okay, thank you. That cleared it up for me too. Thank you.
So for tax year 2025, it would start on July 1 of 2025 through June 30th of 2026. So we'd be projecting forward even at this date in May
Right.
for that tax bill that you sent us. That helpful? Ken, do you have other questions?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna turn to the room live. Cynthia,
I was wondering, how much did you insure your house for? What was?
The insurance was for about, so there's 3 different tiers of insurance. There's the actual structure, there's the stuff inside, and then there's housing. And the house was insured for 500,000 with contingencies of, mold, code, that sort of thing. So we've not even gotten half of what the house would have been insured for. That's not the issue with insurance. The issue with insurance is really to not pay out what they should pay out.
Yeah, with riders, it was about 600,000, but to tell the truth, the insurance company, Allstate, their adjuster hasn't even come to look at the site.
No, we couldn't even get him to come look at it. We've hired a lawyer, we hired an independent adjuster. It's
Sam is gonna ask a question.
Hi, my question on the page 2 of the packet, it says the assessed value before the flood was $750,000, but I just want to point out that on your tax bill, the assessment is $498,800. Can you explain why there's a difference there?
I have absolutely no idea. It's the difference between what the city says and what the mortgage company
Were you
says.
thinking more fair market value than you were thinking what the actual city assessment was?
Well, yeah, that assessment is from the bank of what the fair market value is, the higher one, and the lower one's the city assessment.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna turn it over to Lynn for a question.
Hi, I'm sorry, that's, sounds horrible, what you're going through. Did the insurance company pay for your rental, where you've been living for the last year? Separate from?
Yeah, yes, they have, and that runs out in about 2 weeks.
Okay, and, I know that you said you got 276, so you signed an agreement that said you would settle for 276,000 as a payment?
No, they don't allow you to agree with them. So they just send you a check of what they think it should be. They're pretty, they know I'm pretty clear that this is not an appropriate settlement. But in working with the real estate, with a insurance lawyer and an independent adjuster, they said this is usually the game of insurance. And they're, unless I want a court case for 3 to 5 years, which maybe we'd win, it's not worth it. And it's not worth it to us.
So
Yeah.
there's,
I-
in our policy, we have to settle within a year of filing, so that would be by June 4th. If we do not bring a lawsuit against them, whatever they offer is what we have to accept. So there's no us signing on to it. So that's not how that insurance works.
Okay, thank you. I do have one last question. The real estate agent that you're working with, what are you listing the house as is for?
We haven't gotten that far yet.
What we've learned is there's no comparable
Right.
recent sales in Burlington, Shelburne, or South Burlington. So we're having a hard time setting a price on it, or the real estate agents is having a hard time setting a price on it.
There's no such thing as, this house has lake access. My mother bought lakefront property in the 70s, and this is a piece of property across from that original property. And there are no lake access lots for sale in South Burlington to compare it to.
Right.
So we don't know yet what we could get for it.
Okay, thank you.
It's
I have
basically,
another question. Has any city or state health authority condemned the property at all?
I mean, we haven't gone to the state, but anybody who goes to look at it would condemn it. We're trying to figure out whether we pay for a structural engineer as well, because the way the house was theoretically saved made it structurally unsound. But no, there's been no federal or state inspection of that. It's just been us, and we've worked with a contractor who's clear about the structural integrity of the house.
Okay. Other questions from the board? Donna?
I actually have two. On the condition of the house, is your basement still there? The structure is still fine?
this neighborhood has a really high water table, so we just have a crawl space. There is no basement.
Okay. And I guess I'm still really kind of interested about the insurance. So basically the insurance saying the structure is okay. They just need to go in and get rid of the mold and do some cleanup and put things back up the walls and stuff. Is that why there's such a difference between
Yes.
what they're giving you?
The other thing is the insurance company did a square foot basis on their estimate on a national square foot average for construction. And as we all know, construction rates cost in the Burlington, South Burlington area are much higher than the national average.
One last question, actually, Emily, on their property tax, or do you have the value of what the land is assessed at and what they're giving their property at value?
The land value is 165,900.
155.
165,900. Sold in 309. But this is based on the 2021.
So it's not broken out, like sometimes they'll do basements, but some square foot, The handle of the crawl space, that bottom foundation.
That's not on the property record card. The value of just the basement.
And one other question, taxes.
120,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions from the board? Lori?
I don't have a question, but Michelle and Bill, it's Lori Smith and.
Oh, hi, Lori.
Yeah. And I just want to say I'm very sorry to hear what you guys had to go through.
All right.
So,
Any
and
other?
I wish you luck getting through this quagmire.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, it hasn't been fun.
I'm gonna have a question from Linda here.
Yeah, this is for Emily, based on your experience of lakefront property. In the house on, you know, get that sort of value for anything. Unfair of me to ask me for right property this time.
I'm trying to wrap up whether we have enough information to make a decision one way or the other, and I think I'm getting no further questions from the board. Do you have anything further to offer?
Well, the only other piece of this is we have a $400,000 mortgage on it.
Okay,
If that's helpful info.
that
What
would
is
be
monthly-
important. Sure.
What is the monthly mortgage payment?
Oh, it's 4,000 something, 4,500. That's the taxes are wrapped into it. The taxes have been wrapped into that mortgage payment.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, escrow.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody have a good picture?
So
Matthew?
just to clarify one more time, you're looking for us to rebate, so write you a check for the 10,527.15.
If that's possible, that would be a huge help to what we're going
Okay.
through.
There you go.
All right,
One more question.
go ahead, Lynn.
So when you bought the house 40 years ago or so, it cost what?
We bought the house from my mother
Yeah.
for 120,000 way back when.
And
Yeah,
I have to
So-
point out that the house was just exterior walls, windows, and siding. There was nothing interior, no plumbing, no electricity.
My mother had built it as a rental income and then got overwhelmed with the construction and sold it to us basically as is. So we didn't buy a house, we bought a shell of a house at the time.
and so the mortgage was to build the house you're currently living in?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Anyone else? All right, I'm gonna close our portion of your testimony, and we're going to enter into deliberative session after I think we hear our next request. So we have another request coming in after you. If you understand from our procedures, we're going to enter that deliberative session later on tonight, and we're going to issue a written decision to you within 30 days. Okay?
All right, well, we appreciate your time and consideration.
Thanks for your
Well, thank you.
time.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good.
Okay.
All right, we are not all at the time, I think, to discuss this now, but we're gonna do it later after we hear the next. So you can start reviewing our next data, and if you need to visit the restroom, we'll do so then.
Who's riding them?
Kind of wrap this up. I might visit the restroom in a second. I'm gonna open the hearing for parcel ID, that's the stand code. We had a copy of that.
Yeah.
Parcel ID 0570-00425.019 for Rebecca Loeb, 425 Dorset Street, number 19 in South Burlington. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the request is being made under a statutory abatement category of taxes or charges upon real or personal property lost or destroyed during the tax year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You've read our procedures and do you understand that we're gonna ask you to take an oath shortly? The Board of Abatement has taken an oath previously because you're a third hearing tonight. and we're gonna ask our board members if anybody has a conflict of interest or, will just refuse themselves due to any ex parte communication on the subject property or individual. Not seeing or hearing anybody. Okay, go ahead and.
Rebecca, do you solemnly affirm that the evidence you shall give relative to the cause now under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury? I do.
Thank you. So we're going to hear your testimony and then we're going to reserve our questions, take notes on your testimony if we can go through what you sent us for paperwork and tell us more about that. And then we're going to enter into a deliberative session, take you out and then make a decision and then send you a letter within 30 days from today, okay? As far as you understand. All right, so go ahead and make the case.
Yeah, so on February, or not February, May 20th of last year, the neighboring units in our condo complex caught fire. This was due to a resident of that house had fallen asleep while smoking. The damage was extensive and primarily located on the shared wall between our two units. While our unit did not have any fire damage, we had significant water and smoke damage to our unit. And at that time, we're told we could no longer reside in the unit while repairs were going to be done. We were notified June 26th, so approximately a month later, that the unit where the fire had occurred needed to be cleared out before any work could begin. And 2 months after that, on August 29th, we were notified that the unit was refusing to empty out their unit or allow anybody in to empty out the unit, which was causing delay delays. We were finally able to get somebody in to start the mitigation process in October. In the paperwork if you have in front of you, it says 247 days. Next week, it'll be a year and we're still not back into our home. Insurance only covered 6 months of a hotel stay for us, despite the fact that it was not us who caused the fire or us that caused the delays. As a result, we had to buy a new property because we couldn't find a rental that fit within the time frame that we needed. We are still paying on the mortgage for that house. We are also providing electricity and heat for both our unit and the unit with the fire, because the unit that had the fire had all of their utilities cut off. And the homeowners association could not allow the unit to go without heat, and the construction workers needed electricity to perform works. At this point, the old unit has almost completed construction. However, we are still waiting on some final pieces. And as attached, I have shown the photos of what the old unit, not our unit, but the neighboring unit looked like. As I said in the documents, we did not suffer fire damage. We suffered water and smoke damage, which is very hard to photograph. We have lost furniture. We have lost our home, and wound up living in a hotel in the Green Mountain States for over 6 months of our life. I was encouraged to reach out and file this because our property taxes increased while we were in the hotel, and suddenly we were not paying the correct amount for our mortgage. And our lender was surprised to hear that we hadn't already done this process. So the end hope is that once construction is finally done, is that we will be putting the unit back on the market. But we are still trying to manage it all.
And you said it's close to being done. Is that the-
Close to being done, we've been informed that the insurance covered some of the construction costs. There are still some construction costs that we will have to cover, as well as insurance will not be covering the unit as it's been a year. That since anybody has lived there, so we are expected to cover the costs of the deep cleaning.
Where was your homeowners association on doing this?
They are the ones who are telling us all of this.
that it needs to be cleaned.
Needs to be cleaned before we can sell it.
That's what they tell.
It's what what they are telling us is that they will not be covering any of it. They were not able to cover the electric bills or the gas bills over the winter. We had to get reimbursed from them. And they would, despite the fact that we repeatedly asked that they at least put a divider in. They have, because there was no electricity, construction workers set up a generator in our kitchen and utilized our kitchen to not just power, but to also hang out and put out all of their construction items. They've informed us that because the kitchen did not start the fire damage, they are under no responsibility to clean the residue from the construction. They have informed us that it doesn't matter that it's been a year since our bathroom was cleaned. And it's been a year since we were able to get into the bathroom. It is on us to clean it. It has been an incredibly long process with 3 insurance companies and the HOA and the property management company. And we have been told we will not be made financially whole.
Good evening, folks. It is now 6:30. The library will be closing in 30 minutes at 7 o'clock.
So
A reminder, the public
these
is
pictures
will
are.
shut down by
That is the
6:45.
neighboring unit and the
And
wall,
library
so that is the unit where the fire happened. We shared a wall with our unit. The only reason our unit was not.
You couldn't hear your question?
I was
just got the answers.
I'm going through the pictures,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to
Yeah.
reconfirm that those are the adjacent unit.
That's-
18.
Yes, so that's 18. Those photos right there where you're seeing the empty wall and the bare floor, those are our unit.
So the studs
Yep.
are.
They went down to studs, they replaced all of the flooring, all of the walls. Except for in the bathroom, they wouldn't touch the bathroom. And so that has been completely redone, which I appreciate, but I would have more appreciated living in my house.
And the stairwell is your unit, and the mattress is your unit or?
No, the mattress is not, that's theirs, yep.
Okay.
So the only reason our unit did not go over the flame was because there was a firewall in between the two, because their unit 18 was a complete tear down. They had to redo everything. I'm also being told they're going to have to redo a full roof, and it's a series of townhouses, and so their full roof is good.
So for a number, as far as when we take them all of requests, what do you?
I didn't get this.
Well, you're saying if you give us a time frame, you can figure out that.
Oh, yes, I can absolutely, so the fire was May 20th of 2025. We have been out since then, with a hope, gosh, I hope that we will be back, it will be ready to at least put it on the market when we hit a year mark next year.
So based on the 2025 tax bill, if you did include for us, if that goes from July 1st of last year, maybe 5 weeks.
Yeah.
After the fire, to June 30th of this year, 5 weeks, 6 weeks from now, the tax bill was $3,020.53.
That sounds like a good
Is
number.
that the ballpark?
Yes, that's a good number.
And is that 3,020 represent any rebate, any reduction in taxes that? Okay. I'm gonna ask you if you have anything more presented, so you sent us the tax bill, you sent us pictures, you sent us the narrative, is
Yeah.
there anything else that was?
I have nothing else, I'm happy to answer questions.
If Jen Oaks is online, because I'm otherwise gonna forget you, Jen Oaks online.
Thanks so much, Chris.
I apologize if I might have done that in the first one.
No, you were good.
I'm gonna, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you have done any legal requests to get some money back for all these electrical bills and things that don't seem to be your responsibility?
There has been an attempt at some of that. There is a question as to available means. The understanding that we have is that the owner of unit 18 is living on a fixed income disability. And so while we could potentially, they are the ones at fault, we could potentially seek legal action. Their primary asset is the house, and I can't, in good conscience, go after somebody's housing. I can't and won't do it. And so their insurance has been involved, but has also said they have a total coverage of $100,000 for cover the 3 units that were impacted.
And they're out, the person that had the fire, they've been out of the unit for that. So, Jen, I'm sorry, your follow-up?
No, that's great. Thank you.
And Don,
So I feel for you. I also had a fire last September on the house next to me and damaged my house, and
Yeah.
so I understand and appreciate you going through. Question, I guess, one thing, you going through everything through your insurance company, correct?
Yes.
Are they gonna subrogate against the other insurance company to get everything back for you?
They have said that they are going to try, but they've also said given the policy limits for the owners of 18, it is unlikely you will be getting much of anything.
And I guess the question I have is, you had to move out because of the wall. Was there anything preventing you from getting back in? I mean,
There was no wall.
right, but I mean, I was just like, once you went back and moved everything out, the smoke out, and the water damage taken care of, was there something preventing you from putting that wall up?
Work has just finished. So what they told us is that unit 18 had to have the work done first. Because otherwise all of the gross and chemicals would then transition over into our unit, and we would have to fix our unit. The wall went up and the wall and flooring finally went in probably about 6 weeks ago. And I've been going back and forth with them about different things that we went in, and there was trash all over the unit from construction work. They're just like finishing up the smaller things, and at this point, we've moved into a new place because we needed somewhere to live.
Linda?
Yeah, your HOA, does your HOA have any sort of master policy?
So they are one of the 3 insurance policies that it is, yeah. So they are involved. They're the ones who, at least initially, are covering the construction. And then they will be parsing out with my insurance and the insurance company.
So it's the insurance companies fight everything.
Any other questions?
Yeah, hi. Sorry.
Yes.
Can you tell me, did any of the insurance companies contribute to the purchase of your new dwelling?
No, I am incredibly lucky in that I have a family that was able to help us. They have not helped us with purchasing a new dwelling or with replacing our items.
So you mentioned that you have a mortgage on the one that you can't live in.
Yep.
Is there any insurance that the bank provides to give you a break on the mortgage because you're not living in it?
They were the ones that told me to come here.
So you've been having to pay your mortgage every month?
I've been paying full mortgage every month, and full HOA fees. The HOA will not reimburse us for the HOA.
We get kids on the side.
How
So,
many units are there in this HOA?
about 40. And our electric bills at times were going up to about 2,000 a month.
Of those you are,
2,000.
you're getting that reimbursed?
I'm getting reimbursed the difference, but we had to pay it first.
Is that heat
No, that is just the electric, the heat was an additional. Give it back to 300 for 900 worth of equipment.
So your new apartment, the mortgage is with the same bank that you.
The new apartment, the mortgage was.
Okay.
So, but I will, once we sell the old place, we will be getting a new mortgage and formally purchasing it from them.
Yeah.
And so it will be from the same bank, but.
Laura, was just wondering. Are the taxes paid up to date? So there's no interest, no penalties, no thing.
Can I hear, so you're living at 40 Bayberry Lane now? Yes. Is that the new condo that you purchased? So you're paying mortgage on that as well?
I will be, but not yet.
You, not yet.
My parents were able to buy it out.
Oh, okay.
So we will buy it from them, but we are paying the HOA fees and
Okay.
the utilities. So
You're paying the taxes there too? Horrible story, I'm sorry.
Nobody was hurt. Nothing of sentimental value was damaged, and our new place has a washer dryer, so. We're moving on.
Check the list filter.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Awesome. Questions? So, in effect, the request is gonna be for around 3,050 people on the tax bill. And, you're, I don't know, we have other questions? Linda.
I was gonna ask Emily, if the common land or is any value in the assessment for land each common unit?
No, because it's incorporated.
And did the bank offer any additional information on their advice to just to go to the city and see what?
Just to fill out the information form.
Mhm.
We did not mention that there would be a hearing in front of a dozen people, but.
The reason is that, if you're just appraising the property. you
Right.
Need 3 people because we haven't spent that money yet, but this money has been budgeted and spent.
Absolutely.
And, so we have to, fly back from, our city councilor said. Lynn.
Do you have a sense of the increase in value? I know it's about a year, but when you sell your condo, how much more will you be able to get for it, given that they've improved it?
Yeah, and so they're actually one of the, not our neighbor on the other side, but the other unit there is currently on the market. And it's about, I haven't looked recently, but when I last looked, it was about 100,000 more just due to the increase in cost of living. We'll have fresh floors, fresh walls, fresh paint. And so my hope is that yes, there will be an increase in costs. However, the new place that we're living in is also more expensive to purchase, so. Yes.
One more question, can I ask what the mortgage is on the Bird Place, that was the HOA as well?
So the mortgage on the Burns place before the fire was, I believe, 1,016. It is now, I believe, around 1,200. And again, it's all direct deposit because until I don't know the exact figures, I can pull them if that would be helpful. The HOA fees are about $100.
Why did the mortgage go up?
Taxes.
You're never else, but okay.
Okay, other question? Have enough information over this evening? No, so if you recall the procedure, we're gonna give you a written response in 30 days.
Yes, perfect. Thank you guys so much.
And thank
Good luck.
We're very sorry for your both your issues.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna, well, I guess we'll wait, so. I would move that we enter deliberative session.
Thank you. Can I get a second? Thank you, Linda. All those in favor, please say aye. Thank you. We have minutes or not? Minutes? No minutes. Where's my? We have any other business? We do still have minutes. Don't we?
We do.
Okay, we'll do the next round. Okay. Any other business?
I would like to, on those groups that you put out,
Let's make a correction.
if you've got a chance, could you give us an update on the actual date for, what was it, tabulation? Yeah, the election meeting and tabulated testing. No, that one's real. No, fall abatements, Thursday, August 1st.
It's whatever that Thursday is, so let me just tell you.
There's a Thursday before it, which would be July, and then a Thursday right after it, the August, but I think you also have a meeting in like the fair. Already. So these are more vacancies. You have more waiting from the three, we only did three tonight.
We have
Wasn't fine.
You want me to give yesterday?
Wow. And have the announcements of the new tax appraisal gone out? That was, I didn't see.
No.
Usually first.
So those folks that were responding in this way to will have heard by now.
They're gonna come
Yeah,
out.
I don't know. It's usually.
This is good timing for them to go and get a heads up before it comes out, because I doubt anybody went in person.
Before, or it doesn't matter before or after, as long as they do it before. Before the.
All right, so.
Say something. No, that's right.
That's correct.
Fine.
If you're talking about this date, Thursday, July 23rd.
No, the one way at the top,
Oh, I see.
Thursday, August 1st,
Fall
5 to
abatement.
7 p.m.
A fall abatement.
She's a second one.
27.
That's why I'm asking for that.
27. August 27.
Okay. August 27th at the top of your school.
Not August, not August.
Not August,
August
27.
27
Right.
from at 7.
Okay.
We're gonna have some more reserve for this one.
No move.
Okay. Matthew and Ken, thank you very
Bye.
much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Jen. Thank you everyone for.
Thanks for letting me on.